Welcome, everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Danielle Ball. I'm a librarian in the Business and Economics Department with Los Angeles Public Library. Thank you for tuning in to YouTube. Today's program has been co-organized between the library and with SCORE Los Angeles. And SCORE is a national organization that provides free mentoring and resources for entrepreneurs and small business owners. So today's program, this is how it's going to go. In a few minutes, I'll be introducing our presenter. The topic today is increasing your website sales and leads using SEO. And then at the end of the presentation, we are going to have time for questions and answers. So be thinking about what questions you'd like to ask the presenter. The way you will submit your questions is by simply typing them into the chat box. And so you will need to be signed into your YouTube account to do that. So feel free to submit your questions at any time, but again, we will wait until the presentation is over to address the questions. Also a reminder, we are recording this program, so it will be here on the library's YouTube channel if you'd like to rewatch it or if you'd like to share it with anybody in your network. Okay, with that, I'd like to go ahead and introduce today's presenter. We have Brandon Leibowitz here with us. Since 2007, Brandon Leibowitz has been working in the digital marketing field, specializing in SEO, SEM email marketing, affiliate marketing, and social media marketing. He founded SEO Optimizers, a search engine optimization marketing agency that works with a variety of clients, such as Sleeping Angels Company, Castle Catering, Ortho Mattress, and more. He is featured on sites as a digital marketing authority, including Social Media Today, Live Chat Blog, Simply Measured, Business to Community, and other popular sites. On a more personal note, Brandon is a lifelong Los Angeles resident. He's an avid skateboarder, and in his free time, he loves traveling and going to concerts with friends. And also, before I hand this off to Brandon, I do want to mention that he presented for us about a year ago, and it was an excellent presentation. The topic was automate your SEO using AI, ChatGPT, and Google Gemini. So I encourage everybody to go back and watch that. I've linked that video below in the description box. So underneath the subscribe button, if you click on more to expand the description box and then scroll all the way down, the video is linked there. So make sure to check it out. And with that, I am happy to welcome Brandon. And Brandon, I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to you.
Thank you for the intro, and thanks everyone for coming out. Hopefully you can see my presentation and the slides. Today, we're going to talk about how to increase your website sales and leads using SEO. A little bit about myself. Well, I had a really nice bio, but quick little bio is got my degree in business marketing back in 2007. And after I graduated from college, one of the first jobs I was offered was doing SEO, which I didn't really know much about it. I told the company I don't know much about it. And they said, don't worry, we're new to this as well. And we're going to learn with you and take you to different classes and workshops and seminars, and decided to give it a shot. And after working there for a few months, back in 2007, I realized that everyone is probably going to have a website in the future. SEO is a way to get free traffic. And I thought to myself, who doesn't want free traffic? So that got me sticking with SEO, working at different advertising agencies as a director of SEO before work, after work, and on my lunch breaks. I'd work on my own company and eventually built that up to where I was able to quit my job and been doing this ever since, helping people tap into the free traffic from the search engines or LLMs or wherever people are searching nowadays. For today, I want to go over what is SEO, why it's important. I'll explain how Google ranks websites, because if you understand what search engines are looking for, it makes things a little bit easier to understand how to make your website optimized. I'll talk about keyword research, which is one of the first starting points, is figuring out what keywords do people actually search for that have buyer intent and low competition. Then I'll talk about backlinks, what they are, and basically why you need to have backlinks. Without backlinks, it's not possible to rank on the search engines. And then I'll talk about competitor analysis, how you could analyze your competition, because really it's not a one size fits all with SEO. Every website's different, and Google's algorithm is, or what we want to do is try to beat our competition, do better than our competitors are doing. So if we could see what our competitors are doing, we can understand what's going to help us get to the top of those rankings. And then tracking everything through tools like Google Analytics, how to track, what to track, how to make sure everything is working properly. It's all viewable and free for you to review and look at through Google Analytics. But SEO stands for search engine optimization, which means optimizing websites for search engines or LLMs or wherever people are searching. It doesn't have to just be Google. We could help you rank higher on Yelp or Amazon or YouTube. But it's not really ranking your website. It's ranking the pages that you have on your website, because each page is an opportunity to rank for different keywords. And the more pages you have, the more keywords you could target, because each page can only target so many keywords, a few keywords. After that, it loses relevancy. So the more pages you have, the more your keywords you're able to target and the more visibility you're able to get. I have over 200 pages on my website. I do SEO, but I have pages for SEO for Google. I have a page for SEO for ChatGPT. I have a page for SEO for Perplexity. Because if someone's searching for SEO for ChatGPT, if I don't have a page about it, it's going to be really tough for me to rank. But by me having pages for each keyword or every single different one of these topics, that makes me really relevant to that keyword search and helps me show up in the search results. There's lots of different types of searches. It's not just, when you search on Google, it's not just websites that appear. Images appear, videos appear, maps appear, shopping, there's products, there's news. Best practices, we want to try to take up as much real estate on that first page of Google without spending money on paid ads. That means if you have any videos, we're optimizing those videos. We're optimizing your images. If you're a local business, we want to optimize your map listing. If you're selling products, we want to optimize your products, and so on and so on. So here's an example of what Google looks like when you search at the top. Those are paid ads. If you click on one of those paid ads or those ads, that company is paying Google for each click. Could be a couple cents per click, could be a couple dollars per click, it could be $100 for one visitor to your website. Not one lead, not one sale, just one visitor. That's why I like SEO, because you're not paying for each click. So right below the ads are the organic, the free listings. And SEO is trying to get you in those free listings. And the benefits of SEO is it increases your visibility and your brand awareness. People are searching, they're going to see you, they're going to find you. And when people see that you're in the organic results, it instantly boosts your trust and credibility. If someone sees it's an ad, they know that you're just paying to get up there. People don't trust the ads as much as they trust the organic, the SEO listings. And this is going to drive targeted traffic to your website. People are searching, they're going to find you, they're going to click, go to your website, and that's going to provide measurable results that we could track with tools like Google Analytics, which I'll show you later, how we could track everything. And it is cost effective in the long run to do SEO versus paying for those ads. This is going to be the better long-term strategy, because you don't want to rely on paying for every single click, because if you stop paying, you disappear. With SEO, if you stop doing SEO, you're not just going to disappear. Eventually, your competition is going to do more SEO than you've done, and you're going to drop down those rankings, but you're not going to just disappear right away. With the paid ads, you stop running those ads, you're gone. You have no visibility. So that's why I like the SEO, and why I stuck with SEO over the years, is because it's a great strategy long-term to build trust and get visibility. This slide is a little outdated, with SEO, it's constantly changing. But what I want to show is that SEO, it doesn't really end. You're going to start off with number one, your initial analysis. Then you're going to do keyword research, which I'll show you how to do that later. Then you're going to do competitor analysis, which I'll also show you how to do later. But the rest, number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, kind of changes. But number 9, building backlinks, very important. We'll talk about that in a minute. But what I really want to show on the slide is number 10 is reporting. Once you get to that first page of Google, there's 10 spots on that first page of Google. You're going to be pushing somebody off that first page of Google, and they're not going to be happy about that. Nobody wants to be on page 2. So once you get to that first page, someone drops off of page 1, and they're going to look at everything that you've done. They're going to look at your keywords. They're going to look at your backlinks, and they're going to try to do a better job of it than you've done. So you have to maintain those rankings. The more competitors you have, the more you have to maintain it. The less competitors you have, the less you have to maintain it. If you're a restaurant in Los Angeles, it's hyper competitive. There's thousands of restaurants in Los Angeles, but there's only 10 spots on that first page of Google. So once you get to that first page of Google, you don't really have to fight to keep those rankings. But if you're a restaurant in some small town where there's maybe 5 other restaurants, then you don't really have to do as much to maintain it, because once you get to that first page, you're going to stay up there. Of course, you want to be number 1, but you're not going to be dropping off to page 2 or 3 because there's less competition. So the more competition you have, the more competitive those keywords are, the more SEO you have to do to continue to stay up at the top, which I'll show you how you do that in a minute. But first, I want to show you how the search engines work. Search engines have what are called spiders, and these spiders go around the internet, crawling the internet line by line, reading the code on your website, trying to figure out what this page is about. Then they just try to determine how relevant you are to different keywords that people might be searching for, and they rank you accordingly. Basically, they're providing answers to questions. It's a little bit easier if I show you versus telling you. So if anyone does have a website, you want to throw in the chat, and I could show you what the search engines will see versus what we see. And if not, I could always just put my own website in here since it is live. There might not be anybody putting their information in, but let me switch over. So since there are no websites popping up here, I'll just go to my own website, SEO Optimizers. And this is what we see when we look at my website. You can see there's images, there's lots of stuff going on, but if you right click on a website and go to view page source, this is going to show you the coding, which is what the search engines are looking at. And basically, they're just reading all this code line by line, trying to figure out what this page is about. And you can see there are no more images, there's no more videos, it's all text. So they're looking for words in the language that you're targeting. And they're going to read through all this code. They're going to skip a lot of this code, but they're going to look for keywords. Right here, they might see like the word digital marketing advertising agency. So they're going to read this and say, okay, brand SEO optimizers or digital marketing advertising agency. But they're also going to look for like more words about it. Like, we are a full service digital marketing and advertising agency in Los Angeles. So they're going to piece all this together, trying to figure out what this page is about by reading all these words, by reading all these keywords. And they're going to be able to associate me with the different keywords I'm trying to rank for. But content is very important. If you don't have content on your website, text, it's going to be hard for the search engines to read and understand and know what that page is about. So I always tell people, try to put a couple hundred words of text on your page. The more text you put, the better. It doesn't have to be all in one spot. Like you can see, I broke it up into multiple different places, but the more content you put on your page, the easier it is for the search engines to read, understand, and know what this website is about. A lot of people have like e-commerce websites full of text, full of images, but there's no text. It's going to be hard for the search engines to really understand what that page is about. So if you're an e-commerce website, you should try to put text about what that page is about, what those products are about. That way it helps the search engines and the LLMs understand what that page is targeting, what keywords are you trying to rank for. So that's how the search engines work, is they're just trying to understand your code and reading your website, trying to understand what keywords you are targeting. But we got to figure out what keywords do you want to rank for. And that's where keyword research comes into play, where that's the starting point for SEO, is trying to figure out what keywords do you want to rank for that have buyer intent and low competition. One of my clients, they're a personal injury law firm in Los Angeles. They want to rank for personal injury lawyers, or personal injury lawyer singular, which gets 20,000 searches. Personal injury lawyers plural gets 200,000 searches every single month. Just by changing one letter, you could 10x your traffic. And that's why keyword research is very important, not to just guess at these keywords, but to take the time to do keyword research to figure out what keywords do people actually search for. That way you can incorporate those good keywords into your website. The way I like to do keyword research is by writing down on a piece of paper keywords that I think I want to rank for. And then we'll use tools to figure out how many people search for that keyword. But first, we need to make a big list of keywords. The more keywords we put in this list, the better. So if you want to open up like a Word document or notepad or write on a piece of paper, it doesn't matter where you make this list of keywords, but you want to make a big list of keywords and try to take a step back. Pretend you've never heard of your product or service and think of questions. What keywords, what questions would you ask, would you be searching for to find your product or service? Which it is tough if you are a business owner, you're kind of ingrained in your business and you're like, this is what you should be asking, but people might not be asking those questions. So try to just also ask friends or family, ask customers what questions, what keywords they're using, write them down. You could also search Google for your keywords. Google's going to help you look at your competitors to see what keywords they're using. It's also going to show you this instant search, autocomplete, and searches related to. So just by putting one keyword into Google, it's going to give you a wealth of information. This is a little bit easier if I show you versus telling you this stuff. So let me again go back and let me open up my browser and show you how we could see some of this stuff. So let me share my screen. So if your keyword was like selling tennis shoes, you could type tennis shoes into Google and then add a space, and this drop down will appear. This shows you high search volume keywords that are related to your keyword. Also at the very bottom down here, this will show you people also search for. So these are also keywords that people commonly search for when searching for tennis shoes. So you'll see a lot of overlap. You might see some new keywords or different words in here, but this is all good ideas to potentially write down if they make sense. If they don't make sense, skip it over. But if it does seem like a good keyword that you do want to rank for, then throw it, or then write it down in that list that you're making of keywords. Let me go back. So keyword research, you could search on the search engines, get ideas from your competitors or from Google, and get ideas of what to use. But then we got to figure out what keywords, how many people search for that keyword, what keywords are going to get me good search volume. There are free And there are paid tools to help you do keyword research. There's a free tool. It's called the Google Keyword Planner, and it is free to use, and it is from Google. So it's a great tool to use. If you work at a company that wants to pay for a tool, there are paid tools like Ahrefs, Moz, SEMrush, but you could use one of the free tools. I mean, you can use Google Keyword Planner, and you don't need to pay for these tools. But if you are working for a company and they want to pay for a tool, these are the more popular ones. These paid tools basically get their information from the Google Keyword Planner and just make it more presentable, more easy to read. But basically, they're just taking all the information and repurposing it. So you don't really need to pay for these tools. And what they do is they show you how many people search for a keyword every single month. So then you can see, is a singular or a plural or a synonym or some other variation going to get me more searches? Like I teach SEO classes. So by doing keyword research, I could see that SEO classes gets 5,400 searches every single month. SEO training also gets 2,400 keywords each month. SEO training wasn't really a keyword that I thought of using, but now by doing this, I realize SEO training is probably a keyword I should also be targeting because it'll get me an extra 2,400 eyeballs on my content. So now instead of just ranking for SEO classes, I'm doing SEO training, SEO classes, 2 different keywords. So using keyword research is going to help you get new ideas, and it's going to really help you step out of the bubble that you already are in and think of new keywords that are going to get you more visibility, more exposure for your company and your brand. It's really important not to just guess at this. Keyword research doesn't take that much time to do, but it is one of the most important things and one of the things that a lot of people skip over. And you can do keyword research for website content, for blog posts, for podcasts, for social media posts, for anything that you're putting out there. You can try to find keywords that have high search volume that are going to get you more visibility. Mobile friendliness is very important because over half of your traffic is going to come from mobile nowadays. And it has to look good on all devices. Because if it doesn't look good on all devices, Google said we're not going to show you on mobile if your website is not mobile friendly. And I've had clients that have mobile friendly websites, but the search engine said that this website was not mobile friendly because of the colors were too close to one another or too similar, that it said it's not mobile friendly and we're not going to show you in these mobile searches. There's a free tool called the mobile friendly test that you could check your website to make sure it is mobile friendly, which most websites will pass it, but you never know. And if you were like one of my clients that had a mobile friendly website, but search engines didn't think it was mobile friendly, you're going to be missing out on over half the traffic you could be getting to your website. So it's really important to check to make sure it is good on mobile. It looks good on all the different browsers as well. How does your website look on Chrome and Safari and Firefox and Internet Explorer? It's all going to look a little different. And sometimes it might be broken on some of these platforms that you might need to fix it and adjust how it looks. That way you're not going to get people coming to a website that looks broken. But one of the most important things for SEO are backlinks. Backlinks are clickable links from another website that points to your website. Let's say, for example, we're reading an article right here on the LAtimes.com. In there, it says Ivar Seafood Chain. If you click on that and it goes to Ivar Seafood Chain, Ivar Seafood Chain is getting a backlink from the LAtimes.com. So the more websites that have clickable links that point to your website, the more trust you're going to get, the more popular you see in the search engines, and that gets them to move you up the rankings. It's kind of like a website is voting for you, saying we trust you. Because Google came around in the 90s and said, we don't trust content, keywords. Keywords are very important, but anybody could put keywords on a website. I could put keywords on my website, say I'm a doctor, I'm a dentist, I'm a lawyer, and Google's like, are you really a lawyer? Are you really a dentist? Because why should we trust you? Before Google came around, people just put keywords and they would rank for those keywords instantaneously. But People manipulate and game the system. So people put keywords that are not really related to them. And Google said, we don't want to rank you for the wrong keywords or keywords that are not related to you. So we're not going to look at keywords. We're going to look at backlinks first, keywords secondary. So if you're a doctor, you should be on websites like WebMD. You should be on Wikipedia. You should be on websites related to health and wellness. If you're not on these sites, they're not going to think that you're a doctor. And in the past, it was a number of backlinks. If I have 100 backlinks and you have 200 backlinks, you would rank higher than me. Until people started manipulating and gaming the system and building low quality backlinks. So now it's quality over quantity. A few good quality backlinks are much better than a bunch of low quality backlinks. But what is a quality backlink? A quality backlink means it comes from a site that's related to you. The more related it is to you, the better. So I do SEO. I'm not going to really get other SEO companies to give me a backlink because we're all direct competitors. But I could find websites about marketing, about advertising, anything that's somewhat related to me. That's what the search engines want to see. The more related, the better. But it doesn't have to be exactly what you're doing. If I got a backlink from a clothing company, Google's going to be like, why is a clothing company linking out to this SEO company? Maybe I did their SEO, so that's fine. But if a majority of my backlinks came from clothing websites, Google's going to think I'm a clothing company, not an SEO agency. So it's really important to not just get backlinks, but get backlinks from sites that are related to what you're doing. And then authority. How big, how popular is this website? If I give you a backlink from my website, it's good, but it's not the same as a Forbes or Wall Street Journal or New York Times or LA Times. The bigger the website, the more SEO value that's going to pass on. Relevancy and authority are the two really important parts of SEO. So you might find websites like the LA Times is a good website. It's really authoritative, but it doesn't have any relevancy to you. So it's a good backlink, but the LA Times is about everything. Whereas these niche related sites, they're going to be a little bit better because I might get on a blog about SEO. Might not be the biggest blog, but if it's really related to me, that's great. So I like to look at relevancy first, authority second, because these big authority sites, they might not be related to you. They're still really helpful, but you need to get both. So relevancy and authority when you're building backlinks, quality over quantity. Don't just build a bunch of backlinks, build a bunch of good quality backlinks. Because if you build the wrong backlinks, it'll actually do more harm than good. And instead of ranking higher in the search results, you're actually going to drop down in rankings, which we don't want that to happen. We don't want you to lose traffic. And I see time and time again that I get new clients that come to me and I'll see that they went to sites like Fiverr and they bought a bunch of backlinks. And these backlinks are really spammy and they're being penalized. And getting out of a penalty is extremely difficult because Google is happy to penalize websites. If you are penalized, you're not going to show up in the search results. And if you're not showing up in the search results, you're not going to get traffic. And if that happens, you're probably going to be like, all right, I need to run paid ads. And that's how Google makes the majority of their money is through paid ads. By you spending money on paid ads, Google is making more money. By you doing SEO, Google doesn't make money. Google wants to make money. Google is in the business of making money. So if you're not making Google money, they don't really care about you that much. But if you're spending money on Google, they are happy. And they're happy to penalize websites. A great way to build backlinks and look at keywords is by doing competitor analysis. So you want to figure out who your competition is, and then you could spy on them. But first, we got to figure out who are your competitors. I get people that come to me all the time and give me a list of all these competitors. And then I search on Google and I don't see any of them ranking on that first page of Google. So competitors online and offline are different. You might be a restaurant in Los Angeles and come to me and say, here, Brandon, here's a list of all my competitors that sell the same type of food that are in my city. And then I might search, and if I don't see them ranking, they're not your competitors online. Offline, they're your competitors. But online, if I see Yelp is ranking, Yelp is not a restaurant. But if Yelp is ranking for your keywords, technically they are your competitor online. Offline is a little different. So it doesn't matter if they really are in the same line of business. If a website ranks for your keywords, we want to study them and figure out, what are they doing? How are they getting up there? So a good way to find your competitors is by searching on Google for your keywords and seeing who shows up consistently. Just because someone shows up once or twice, maybe they got lucky. But if you search 20 different keywords and you see the same competitors showing up over and over and over again, these are your competitors that you want to study what they're doing and analyze them and try to figure out what have they done right, or what are they doing that's getting them up there that we could replicate. So a big part of competitor analysis is trying to look at your competitors' backlinks. So let me go back to sharing my screen. And here is, let me open up a tool that will show you backlinks. So there's tools that will let you look at websites' backlinks. And let's say I want to rank for, well, let's just say tennis shoes. So we could see who's on that first page of Google, and we could click on one of these websites and say, just for example, courtside tennis. This might be my competitor. So I could put them in these tools to look at their backlinks and see who is linking out to my competition. So with Ahrefs, I could put my competitors in here, and we could look at their backlinks and see that right here, it shows referring domains. There's a lot in here. Most of this doesn't really matter for SEO, but what we want to look at is referring domains. How many backlinks do they have? And then I can see one by one all the websites that this courtside tennis website is listed on. So I could see that they're on like this appsruntheworld.com. I could click on it and go here and see that right here is a clickable link. If I click on this, it takes me to courtside tennis. So this website is giving courtside tennis a backlink. So if I saw my competitor on this website, I'll try to figure out, how can I get myself on this website? What is this website? How are they listing people? Is it a directory? Can I contact them somehow? So it's kind of like becoming a detective. You want to reverse engineer competitors to try to figure out, what did they do to get on this website, and how can I get myself on this website? So I can see right here is an email address. I could email Apps Run the World and be like, hey, I saw that you have a listing for courtside tennis. I have the same tools or same business. Can you list me here? You got to get creative when you pitch them, but this is a quick way to figure out, what are competitors doing and how can I get listed on these same websites that my competitors are listed on? You can see there's a lot of pages of content in here. You can just keep going all through these pages and looking at all these different websites like pickleball, paddle deals, or find paddle, tennis city. Find the ones that look related to you and try to figure out, how did they get that backlink? What are they doing to get on these websites? So it's a quick way to spy your competition and reverse engineer their strategies. Let me get back here. So sorry, it keeps going to the beginning of my presentation. Let me get back to where we were just looking at competitors to try to figure out who your competitors are and analyzing their SEO strategy. But once you start ranking, you got to figure out, how are you doing? How are you ranking? How is your visibility? How much traffic are you getting? Where are these visitors going? What pages are they visiting? How long are they staying on your website? Google Analytics is data overload. It tells you too much information about your traffic, but more data is better than less data. And it's a free tool. You have to sign up for Google Analytics. They're going to give you a little tracking code. You put that tracking code on your website. And once you install that tracking code, you're going to see where your traffic's coming from and a wealth of information. But it only starts tracking the day you put that tracking code in on your website. If you put the tracking code on your website next month, you're not going to get any of this past month's data. I would recommend put it on sooner than later. That way you can see what's happening when people get to your website. It'll show you which pages get the most traffic. It'll show you how people found you, if they found you from Google, from social media, from email marketing, from whatever platforms. You'll see exactly which pages, what country, what city, what state they're from, what language they speak. Again, it's a lot of information. You can see here as a little view of Google Analytics, but I always tell people just click on everything. You're not going to break anything, and you're going to learn so much information about your traffic and your visitors and how they behave on your website. But without Google Analytics, you're kind of going at it blindly at the dark. And with the data, you're going to be able to make statistically informed decisions about your business, especially if you're running paid ads. You need to know what's happening after people get to your website. How long are they staying on your website? What pages do they visit? Do they buy from you? Do they fill out your form? If you're a lead gen or if you're e-commerce, are they making a purchase? You get all this information right there, and it's free to access. Like right here, you can see engagement rate. This means how many people went to my website and stayed on my website. Engagement rate, it shows 53.87% of the people that came to my website stayed. 46.13% of the people left immediately. So then I could try to figure out, why did 46% of my visitors leave? What's going on? Why are people leaving? But this is normal. Half of your traffic is going to leave immediately, the engagement rate. It's just natural because either your website loads slowly, doesn't look good on mobile, maybe they're on their cell phone, somebody called them, they forgot about you. So it's natural to have about half your traffic leave. But if you're running paid ads and you see that your engagement rate is 5%, meaning 95% of the people that came to your website left immediately, something is very wrong with those ads that we need to fix that. And I have seen countless times where people are spending money on paid ads and they're just like, it's not working. We look at the engagement rate and almost all their visitors are leaving immediately. Facebook's not going to tell you this if you're running Facebook ads, because it's not in their best interest to tell you the engagement rate. They just want to show you how many visitors, how much traffic you're getting, how many impressions. But we really want to see engagement rate, like what's going on behind the scenes. That way you can fix these ads if you're getting a lot of visitors leaving. But it's really important to use Google Analytics and tools like this to be able to track. There's also another tool from Google. It's called Google Search Console. This is a free tool as well. This one is for SEO purposes. And this one will show you everything you want to know about your website's SEO, what keywords you rank for, if your website loads slowly, if it doesn't look good on mobile, or if you've been penalized, they're going to tell you in Google Search Console. Google Analytics is just for all your traffic. Google Search Console is just for SEO traffic and SEO data. Both are very important, and I use both of them for myself and my clients to track and make sure everything is working smoothly and going accordingly. So this is Google Search Console. I got a little ahead of myself. It monitors your search performance. It identifies any issues with your pages. It'll analyze your backlinks. It does a ton of information. And this is what Google Search Console looks like. Pretty similar to Google Analytics, but a little different. And this is where, same thing, I would click on everything and just try to learn as much as you can about your website, about your traffic, about your keywords. You're not going to break anything. You're just going to learn a ton of information. The sooner you install Google Search Console, the sooner you're going to get this data. So just like Google Analytics doesn't show you any past data if you don't have the tracking code installed, with Google Search Console, it's not going to go and show you any past data. It's only going to show from the day that you install it, that data from that point on. So that is all I have for today. I did make a list of 40 free ChatGPT prompts that will help out your SEO. If you want to get access to that, you could go to my website at seooptimizers.com/AI. That's SEOoptimizers.com/AI. So now we'll open up to Q&A. If anyone has any questions about anything, I'm happy to answer any questions you might have about SEO, the slides, any of the stuff that we just went over.
Okay. Hey, Brandon, thank you so much. That was amazing. Super interesting. Very practical advice, but so important. And I loved you mentioning that you have to be a detective. A lot of this stuff is just kind of looking at what other people are doing and looking on the back end and seeing things. So I love that idea of being a detective, and it seems like it's something very simple you can do to really make a difference with your business. So yes, like Brandon said, we're accepting your questions. Go ahead and post those into the chat box. Let's go ahead and get started with some questions. Here we go. How many web pages is too many? You mentioned that you have, was it 200 or something like that on your website? Does it get to a point where there's too many web pages, where you kind of have, it starts to hinder you?
You can look at like sites like Amazon. They have millions of pages. And as long as the content is helpful for the reader and the user, there's no need not to create more pages. The only downside or the only bad thing is if you have a page that's one website or one page websites. That's where it hinders you. But having more pages is not going to hinder you unless you have like a bunch of videos and images that might slow down your website. But even Amazon with millions of pages, their website loads really quickly. So there's ways to make it load fast. So I wouldn't worry about that, but just making sure that you're creating pages that are going to be helpful. If you're just creating pages just to throw them up there and they all have the same content, that's not good. But if they're all unique content and help the reader, help the user, then I would keep adding more.
Okay, thank you. All right, next question. Are you able to use Google Consult on Etsy stores?
Yeah. You should be able to, as long as you could add a tracking code to the Etsy store, which I'm pretty confident you can. But Etsy is not really yours. Etsy is just you renting property off a platform. And it's best if you have your own website, because then you get full control. There's no distractions. There's no noise. There's no other advertisements for other Etsy sellers. Your website is yours. Whereas Etsy, you just have, it's good because you tap into Etsy, the network there. They have a big audience. But in reality, you want to have your own website. You don't want to have everything rely on a third-party platform that can also take you down, and then you lose everything and have to start all over again.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Thank you for that. This is a comment and a question. This was very informative. Do you, Brandon, offer classes that one can sign up for? And I think that you've done many webinars for SCORE LA. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I teach classes and do them in person or on Zoom, just like today's class. So you can go to my website, the SEOoptimizers.com/classes, and you can see my classes there.
Okay. And I will go ahead and put that into the chat in just a minute. Okay, perfect. Thank you for that. Let's see what the next question is. Okay. How frequently should I change up the keywords on my website? Or should you? If they're working, should you just keep them like as is?
If things change, like I first got involved with SEO in 2007. It was called internet marketing. Now it's called digital marketing. Not many people search for internet marketing. So I changed my keywords from internet marketing to digital marketing. But in general, if you're a dentist, it's probably not going to change too often. But if things change, then we do want to update it. But in general, we don't really need to change it too often.
Okay, great. Okay, next question. Let me find. All right. Does having a niche product or service automatically make Google rankings better? So you had mentioned like restaurants in Los Angeles. So if you have a German restaurant versus a Mexican restaurant, that's more niche. So does that just kind of automatically help you, or do you still, have the issue with too many competitors?
It just comes down to the competition. If there's only 100 German restaurants, but there's 1,000 Mexican food restaurants, then Mexican food is going to be tougher to rank for. So
Okay.
niching down always helps out, but that's where, if it's still a very competitive niche, then how else can you differentiate yourself? Like maybe it's German food for Oktoberfest or something like that, where it's
Right.
very unique and more niche.
Okay. Thank you for that. And then how can I get other websites to give me a backlink? And you did kind of go into it where, you can find that website, contact them. Is that just the best way, or is it a matter of networking, meeting other business owners? I'm just wondering if you have any advice for the best way to convince people to give you a backlink.
It is very tough. So I teach these classes because I like helping out, but also I get backlinks by teaching these classes. So teaching classes is a way to get backlinks, but it's all about getting creative, figuring out like, how can I get another website to link out to me? If you just ask for a backlink, like if I asked you for a backlink, you would say no. But by me teaching a class, then you're like, okay, sure, I'll write a description, I'll talk about Brandon, and that gets me a backlink. So gotta make it a win-win situation for everybody. A good way to build backlinks is by blogging on other people's websites. Blogging on your website is very important, but it's a lot more beneficial to take the blogs that we would normally post on your website and give them to other people, because then another website is mentioning you. That builds that trust and gets you to rank higher. But so you gotta make it give something. If you give something, then you could get that backlink in return. But if you don't offer anything, they're just gonna be like no, or they're just gonna say pay me a bunch of money.
Right.
Which is another way you could build backlinks, which is not the best, but
right. I love all the free resources you've shared. Pretty much everything has been free, and it looks like it works doing it that way. So thank you for that. For everybody who is watching, and for the folks who asked, I put into the chat Brandon's classes on his website. So check those out. Is there any other questions? I don't see. I think we got them all. I will just say I want something that you talked about that kind of caught my attention was about identifying your competitors, and you gave some ideas on how to do that. I did just want to share with the viewers here at the library, we provide access to a lot of subscription electronic databases, and I'm going to put the link here. It's a long link, sorry, but you can go there and it takes you to our databases, and something like Data Axle, you can find your competitors on there very easily. And so it was great that you kind of went over that, Brandon, because, the library has a lot to offer. In addition to watching videos like this and going to classes like this, you can use the library's resources to kind of put some things into practice and to learn more. So keep that in mind. And so if we don't have any other questions, I think we can wrap up. Thank you so much, Brandon, for being here. It was great. Like I said, for our viewers, thank you for being here. If you have any questions for me, for the library, I've put you see my email address there. Feel free to reach out. And like I said, please visit Brandon's website and his offer and his classes that he has. So thank you, everybody. And Brandon, thanks so much. Have a good day.
Thank you as well, everyone, for coming out. Thanks to the library and everyone helping to set this up. And I look forward to hopefully seeing you at future classes or
Oh yeah, yeah. Everybody, make sure to check out his last presentation in the description. Like I said, I wanted to mention that one more time. So, yeah, you've done a great job. Thank you so much, everybody. Bye.
Thanks. Have a great day.